In beautiful Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And we're going to do a mastermind here on the Fearless Online Entrepreneur Mastermind Group. And today we're going to talk about motivating with the masters. Sorry, is that what it is? Stay motivated with the masters. And we're going to talk about and read about how the masters in their fields work on themselves and stay self-motivation and work like what they do is they work on themselves and improve themselves every single day, because that's what you have to do to stay motivated and to get to your goals and your dreams in life. And I have on the panel with me Jody Maley, and I have Scarlett Rogers with me, and we'll probably have some more beautiful ladies joining us later on. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to start reading, ladies. Oh, and there's Sharon Sutherland. Welcome, Sharon Sutherland.
Good morning.
How are you?
Wonderful.
Okay, I'm going to start reading, and then maybe somebody else can take over after a little bit. I can find it here. Sorry. Okay, stay motivated with the masters. A successful person realizes his personal responsibility for self-motivation. He starts with himself because he possesses the key to his own ignition switch. KEMMONS Wilson, founder of Holiday Inn Hotels. So many of us today are trained by the media, by our parents, by our school, by our culture, to have limiting, "it's not possible," "I don't deserve it" beliefs. This early conditioning is often so ingrained that it takes continual external motivation to overcome the decades of negative effects and move towards more success-oriented thoughts and attitudes. Attending a weekend workshop isn't enough. Neither is reading a book or watching a training video. What truly successful people do is listen daily to audio programs from the world's most renowned motivational masters, in the car, at home, and at the office, even if it's just for 15 minutes each day. Learn virtually anything you want or need to know. The average person commutes 30 minutes each way to and from work. In 5 years, that's 1,250 hours in the car. Enough time to give yourself the equivalent of a college education. Whether you're commuting by car or train, riding your bike, or going for a run, listening to audio CDs can give you the edge you need to excel in virtually any area of your life. You can keep yourself motivated, learn a language, learn management skills, learn sales and marketing strategies, learn better communications, learn about holistic health, and more. Sorry. And then there's a comedy script here. I listened to some motivational tapes while you were at work, and I decided to become a great Dane, a dog was saying to his master. You can even discover the success secrets of the world's most powerful industrialists, business titans, real estate moguls, and entrepreneurs. Sleepless in Virginia at 4 a.m. Just how motivating can the masters be in your life? To the outside world, Jeff Arch's life looked pretty good in 1989. He was running a successful karate school and had a happy marriage and a 4-year-old daughter and 1-month-old son. But inside, something was missing. He had always dreamed of being a successful playwright and screenwriter, but his early efforts had not paid off, and so he had turned his attention to feeding his young family. Still awake at 4 a.m. one night, he found himself watching an infomercial for Tony Robbins' personal power program. Sitting alone in his living room, Jeff thought, I have to face it. I'm doing a good job, but this is not where I want to be. I have to admit there have been big disappointments and that they have hurt. As a writer, I have to admit that I have failed in every possible way there is to fail. And there is nothing more to learn from failure. So maybe now it's time to succeed and see what lessons are there. But this time I have to go at it like a black belt, and this time I have to pull all my attitudes aside and try these other ones. I can always go back to the ones I had, but if they were such good attitudes, I won't be sitting here in front in the morning. I won't be sitting here at 4 in the morning wondering what to do with my life. and what to tell my kids when they get a little older and start asking questions. I heard you were going to be a writer, Dad. What happened? I can't face that. I don't want to be one of those guys who give their kids all this life advice but have nothing to back it up. What authority would I have to tell them anything? How can I tell them to go after their dreams if I don't go after mine? Would somebody else like to read?
I will.
Okay.
Jeff instantly made two decisions that would dramatically change his life. He picked up the phone and ordered the program. Then he promised himself that when the program arrived, unless it was total garbage, he would complete it no matter what, and he would use it as his ticket back into writing. When the program arrived, Jeff did each day's lesson just as he had promised himself. He didn't tell anyone about it because he was so self-conscious. He wanted to get the results first. Fortunately, the information turned out to be just what Jeff needed. The first day he listened to the tapes, he knew he had to return to his writing. And then the very next morning, after 3 years away from his typewriter, he turned into the keys of the karate school and resigned his position to pursue his dream. Tony was the first voice I ever heard that didn't say, "You're dreaming too big," Jeff told me. He didn't say, "Come on, you're asking too much." What he said was, "You've got to think bigger than you ever thought you could." Here was I at 35 years old, and it was the first time in my life somebody gave me permission and encouragement to dream bigger than I was already dreaming. Tony's program told Jeff, "You've got to dream even bigger." Inspired by Tony's suggestion and drawing on the self-confidence that earning the third-degree black belt had given him, Jeff drove back into the writing screenplays. Though his earlier ones took 6 months to 3 years to write, this one was finished and ready in a month. The script was well received, but it didn't sell. Unfortunately, Jeff had written a story about the Cold War in the fall of 1989, and the Berlin Wall came down the day he finished the script. Suddenly, 50 years, the Russians were no longer the enemy. Jeff could have said to himself, "When are you going to realize that you are not meant to be a writer?" and simply have given up one more time. But with his new attitude, he knew to ask a better question. How bad do you want what you want? Instead of giving up, his thoughts about how to get what he wanted. Okay, it wasn't the writing, it was the choice of plots. What has nothing to do with current events? What kind of theme would be timeless? And the answer was, love is timeless. So he thought, if I could write a love story that had nothing to do with history, that would never change. The result was a screenplay for Sleepless in Seattle that Jeff once again created in less than a month and sold in less than 3 months later for $250,000. Sleepless in Seattle went on to become a mega hit that geared Jeff an Oscar nomination for Best Screenplay, plus 2 more screenplay nominations for the Writers Guild of America and the Britain's Academy of Film and Television Arts, revitalized the genre of romantic comedy, and catapulted the careers of Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks to even higher levels. If a motivation and educational audio program can launch a $1 million screenwriting career worthy of the Oscar nominations, don't you owe it to yourself to take advantage of the same kind of resources that Jeff Arch did? There's something wrong with my screen. Can somebody pick up? Oh, here it is. I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Audio tapes. It just wasn't trying. Audio tapes unleashed his creativity. For nearly 20 years, Alan Cross had enjoyed a quite a successful career as a Hollywood television producer. At least it appeared to be successful from the outside. He had developed and produced a good number of shows that average viewer were considered classics in its genre, including Concentration, Joker's Wild, and Tic-Tac-Doe. The money and the titles were nice, but he certainly had the respect of his peers, but unfortunately, All the satisfaction was on the outside. Inside, he felt like he could all end any second. He never felt in control. He was always just reacting to what was coming to him at always a high speed, and never felt like he held the reins of his destiny. He was always stressed out, and he consistently felt like he had just used up all his creativity and had no idea where the next creative thought would come from. Eventually, as the stress mounted, he found himself using food to solve the pain, and he gained a lot of weight, which made him feel even worse. Finally, the seams of his life split when a long-running show he had produced went off the air. At first, he tried to create new shows to work on, but the market was tight and he met virtually no success. He was able to get some work from other products, but it was not enough to keep things going. The less he worked, the more acute his anxiety became. The more anxious he became, the worse his stress and symptoms became. He was stuck in a vicious downward cycle. After a while, his financial situation became dire. His weight had ballooned, and fights with his wife and family were regular events. He was losing friends, people, and industry seemed less willing to work with him, and he became more and more isolated. One day, he was thumbing through a copy of Psychology Today, and he ran across an ad for cassette tapes containing audio technology that Ooh. Sorry. That claimed to alter brain patterns which resulted in positive mental and emotional changes for the listener. It seemed pretty implausible, but at this point he thought, what do I have to lose? So he called Centerpoint Research Institute, and after wending his way through various secretaries, he finally managed to talk to Bill Harris, the owner. Bill told him he had created the audio cassette program built around something he called Holisync. Alan decided to order the Holisync program, and when it arrived, he put it on the audio tape, sat down to his favorite easy chair, put on the headphones, sat back, and relaxed. He continued to do this for 30 minutes each day. From the first time he used Centerpoint tapes, his stress level began to decrease. And the more he used them, the less stressed he became. And the less anxious he became, the easier it was to get along with, and the more people seemed to be willing to help him. Things began to turn around for him. Alan's creativity returned too. He saw situations from the whole new perspective, and creative solutions to his problems seemed almost miraculously pour from his mind. And the longer he used the program, the more he seemed to know himself in a very deep and satisfying way. As he became involved in the new process, he did so with new clarity about exactly how to fit in, know all the pieces that fit together, and how he could most successfully bring the project to completion. Instead of avoiding him, people were now seeking Alan out to work on his projects. As his confidence returned and increased, he finally began to feel in control of his destiny, and his stress level melting away. His weight problem melted away as well. Do you want me to continue?
I can pick it up.
Okay.
So where to get the best motivational audio programs? You'll find my list of my favorite motivational audio programs in Suggested Reading and Additional Resources for Success, page 441 through 451, which, by the way, I'm going to look this up. Or go to www.thesuccessprinciples.com for a more complete and constantly updated list of recommended audio programs on success, wealth building, health, relationships, and more. In addition, here are the 4 best producers of motivational and educational audio programs. Write or call for a catalog or order online. Then there's a little funny here with a guy standing beside his car. I'm going to be late for work this morning. I was listening to my motivation tapes and suddenly found myself driving further and faster than I ever imagined I could. Haha, that's me. And then there's a whole bunch of some things that you could follow right here through Nightingale, Learning Strategies, Fred Pryor, Skill Path seminars. I actually did that one. That one's really good. I also highly recommend for audio programs that I have produced to help you become more successful in every area of your life. Maximum Confidence, Self-Esteem, and Peak Performance, The Aladdin Factor, and The Success Principles, a 30-day journey from where you are to where you want to be. They are all available at jackcanfield.com. All right, so we're at the end of the chapter. We must be close to 15 minutes.
Yep, it's 10:16. So should we discuss, let's go back to the beginning, where they're talking about how when we grew up, the different influences we had in our lives and how they affected us, and how we have to change them now and work on ourselves to do that. And that takes a lot of self-motivation, and I will speak definitely for myself, because from learning experiences, because you do grow up and there are times not, people don't want, and they just don't know any better, I think. I'm not going to say my mom and dad did that because they wanted to hurt me or anything. I think they just didn't know, and it just was passed down generation to generation. But there's definitely been times when when you were commented to as a little kid and said, no, you can't do that. Or what makes you think you can get to that dream? Or why would you want to be rich? Or just comments that just stick with you. And that influences your life as you grow up. And as we're learning now as adults, you can totally reprogram yourself. And it is true, you can do anything you want to do. And it is so important to tell our kids that they should follow their dreams, that they should do what they want to do, and that they should just keep dreaming all the time and never stop dreaming, because that's when their dreams come true, is when they keep it, picture it, visualize it, and they can feel it. Does anybody want to share?
Wow. This reading was, first I want to say good morning everyone on the panel, and first giving honor to our Lord and Savior who allowed us all to be here today. And I'm so happy to see you, Miss Scarlett. We have truly, truly missed you.
Thank you.
A lot, yes, I agree with what you said 110%, Diane. A lot of times, when we tell people what our dreams are, they look at us and say, yeah, right, you're going to achieve that. But you got to eliminate the negativity from your life. You have to think positively about how this is going to impact you. Don't let you, sometimes you got to change who you associate with, who you work with, who you hang out with, because if they are always providing nothing but negative feedback, they're not they're not your friend. They're not there to help you. They're there to bring you down and keep you down at the same level they are. They don't want you to climb that ladder to success. But don't let anything stop you. Don't let anything get in your way. When things seem their worst, that's when you are close to your breakthrough. And if you stop, then you got to start the process over again. So don't quit. Keep pressing towards the mark. Keep going, just like the gentleman in the story. He went through a rough time. He hit rock bottom. But then he found something to help him to start his life over again, and then that's when he achieved success. So what if he gave up? What if he didn't try to change the way he was thinking? If he didn't find that missing link, he wouldn't have achieved success. So don't give up. Don't quit.
Thank you, Sharon. Totally, I absolutely agree. And something that I'm going to throw out there as well is you don't have to hit rock bottom to start all over again. If you realize that you're not where you want to be in your life, stop. Take evaluation of where you are and just start all over again. I would totally encourage anybody and everybody listening out there. It's never too late and it's never too early. Start now. Start today. If something that you hear about kind of just clicks for you and you say, aha, and you have that aha moment, just go for it. Take the plunge. Just jump. Anybody else want to share?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Diane.
I'm not sure if some people realize that this month is actually, I just got to look here in my notes, this month is Rebuild Your Life Month. So for those of you who's wondering, you know, every month they have, there's always something that's going on and that other people support, and this month happens to be Rebuild Your Life Month. So it's a really great time as up here in Canada, our kids are just finishing up their last couple of weeks of school, and then we're going to have our vacation time. And, you know, I really empathize and can be part of the man there who said that he's just at 4 o'clock in the morning wondering why all of a sudden he just felt that unrest, that thing in his life that he just felt there has to be more. And when I grew up, I actually had a family, and I'm not going to tell you what company they were with, although it rhymes with Scamway. And my parents are probably one of the first people in Canada to join that company. And I'm not going to put them down at all because they are still a billion, I mean not a million, they are a $1 billion a year company. So what they are doing, we could all take note of, but there are changes in our industry that you also have to go with the change as well. And my parents dragged us everywhere. When I was between the age of 8 and 13, one time we tied up our babysitter for 2 days, so I guess they decided that was it. These kids are now coming with us. So it wasn't me, by the way. It was my 2 older brothers, just to let you know. And we went on this one trip. I think it was to Jasper. And it even got to the point that they couldn't even leave us in our rooms by ourselves because we, like, destroyed the rooms and stuff. So then my parents were like, that's it. You're coming into the seminars with us where we can watch you. And I remember once laying underneath one of the chairs because even if I was there, I wasn't going to be actually listening to my parents. So I remember laying down under one of the chairs and sort of, I was about 11 at this time, so it was a couple of years into their business. And I was listening to the speaker, and he was really speaking about your dreams can come true. You know, all you have to do is decide what your dream is and that you can follow your dreams. And something about the way he was talking just mesmerized me. You know, I just remember being that 11-year-old and really thinking, wow, like, you know, I was actually at that time a professional gymnast. So a lot of what he was saying just really got into my heart, and I was young, right? So I remember afterwards, and I couldn't remember, I didn't see who he was, I just heard his voice. And so I was like looking around, trying to talk to who this guy was and shake his hand. Those are kind of things that my parents kind of instilled with us. Go and shake the leaders' hands and stuff like that, even when we were young. And this fella says to me, he was watching me wander around. He was, you know, mid-40s gentleman, I guess, at the time. And he said, come over here, little girl. So he goes, come over here and, you know, sit on my lap and tell me what your dreams are. And as soon as I heard his voice, I thought, oh, this is the guy. So I went over and I sat right on his lap, and I just remember him looking into my eyes and asking me how old I was. So I'm like, I'm 11. And he goes, you know what, I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be dream makers in your life, and there's going to be dream breakers in your life. And, oh, I'm getting emotional thinking about this because, you know, I was 11 years old and felt my life was changing because here's an adult telling me to believe in myself, to have your dreams, and to never let anything stand in your way, no matter how old you are or how young you are. Of course, that man had some books at the time, and he's become even more famous. That was actually Zig Ziglar. And, you know, knowing this man and meeting him when I was so young, I mean, I read everything that he ever wrote. I went to a couple conferences that he had because to this day, you know, his books still motivate me and still bring me back to that moment where I was that 11-year-old girl and being told there's going to be dream makers and dream breakers. You need to choose which one in your life you're going to have.
Whew. Wow, thank you, Jody. That was awesome. You're going to get us all to get some tissues out here, aren't you?
I know, I'm like crying.
But yes, to remember those times and those moments, like Jody just relived this time. She actually met this person, Zig Ziglar. That is amazing. I have his books too, and I read his stuff all the time. I just admire him and his work and stuff. And to remember that is just incredibly amazing. And for all of us to know that he didn't just become that person overnight. He self-motivated himself. He worked on himself. He had those dreams that he did not give up on. And that's what it's all about. It's about self-motivation. It's about never giving up, like Sharon just shared with us. Because what happens when you give up? You give up on your dreams. Why do you want to give up on your dreams? You want to have the life that you dream about, and you want to go for it. So just it happens for you if you don't give up. Anybody else want to share?
That was a beautiful story, Jody. Very, very touching. I'm glad you shared it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for allowing me to be part of this group. It just, it just fills me up every day, and it makes the rest of my day so much easier after we've had this hangout, for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I agree with you 110%.
Okay, well, is there anything else we want to talk for a few more minutes? We have a few more minutes left. I'm just trying to get back to my book here and see what else we read.
I think it would be good if we could even post later into our Fearless Online Entrepreneur group, maybe some of the resources that he gave us.
That'd be a
I'm
great
sure
idea.
that jackcanfield.com still has a lot of stuff that we can, have access to, as well as some of the other places that he said to go. And there's actually a couple of, I'm like, there's a couple questions here, but it was Diane. Never mind.
I was looking for the questionnaire actually from the audience. I was going to go see if they had any questions. Does anybody see any questions from the audience?
Actually, when I pulled it up, it said this feature is disabled, so we won't worry about it.
So I'm sorry. I think I made it when I started the Hangout. I might not have started. So if you have any questions, you can hook up with us, any one of us on Facebook. And you can also go to the Fearless Online Entrepreneur Facebook page and just leave us questions and chat with us. Check and see what we're doing here. We're all with the same company, and we are with, what we do is we teach people how to have an income if they're stuck right now. Even if you are in a business already and you're looking for something where you need to do some advertising or where you need to find supplies or something, we can help you to find that money that you're lacking. And it's a very simple and doable thing to do. So you can chat with one of us on Facebook, or you can come find us on Fearless Online Entrepreneur. And we're so blessed and grateful that we have an audience, that people are coming to watch us every single day, because this is not just for us. This is for all of you out there who are watching and listening, because this can be your half hour of motivation. This can be your self-motivation if you log in and book in every single day and listen to us, because we're doing it for ourselves as well as you, because as we grow, we want to share. And that's what it's all about in this online marketing and every day in life. I tell my kids all the time, whatever I learn, I'm sharing with you. And I want you to learn while you're young so that you don't have to relearn it like Daddy and I had. So that's a good point out there too. So if nobody else has anything to share, then I think it will be almost time to close out. No? No last comments? Okay, well, we'll just leave one last thing with you here and say we're so grateful that you have been here with us today, and we thank you that you will come back again tomorrow and join us and take some of this stuff that you had listened to and make a point and actually make a goal of having some kind of reading or listening to something like Zig Ziglar or Jim Rohn or any of those Tony Robbins that we had mentioned every single day, and you will see how your life will change right in front of your eyes, and you will realize how in all areas of your life it will improve, and you will feel good, and you will feel confident, and you will be able to do anything you want to do and go after your dreams. So we'll see you at the same time tomorrow at the same place. Take care.